Hey guys, it's The Good Wife, AfterBuzz TV, episode 18, season 7. We've got a lot to talk about, so tune in, stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It's kind of sad that this is going to be like one of the last times we get to hear this music.
I know.
I was thinking about that during the show because they played something. It wasn't the intro music, but it was something similar that made me think of it.
Yes.
And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, like we don't have much time with this.
Right, yeah. Sadly for me, I didn't know that the show was ending until the winter premiere early this season.
Kenny!
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of it during a commercial break. So I was like, and then of course
that's like such a depressing way to find out.
And then I went online and it was just like, oh, The Good Wife ends after season 7. I was like,
it's like, what was it, like 6 more episodes, depending on when you like saw this.
This was earlier. This was like in January. So it was
winter
like,
premiere, like 11 or 9 or something.
9 or 10,
which is not much better. It's still not enough.
No, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But hi.
I know, we should probably say who we are, huh?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Courtney Henderson here hosting tonight. I have a new host with me, not new to the studio. You may have seen him on
RuPaul's Drag Race, if you ever watched that show.
If not, you can binge watch that after this.
Yeah, you can. And you can catch me in all my filthy glory on that show.
Well, there's plenty of, I don't know if I'd call it filth, but plenty of, like, teetering filth in this show.
This is a good one.
So, yeah, I love this episode.
This is a good one.
Like last week, started with them in bed.
That's a good way to start a night.
I like the shot. Like, I was trying to think. I don't think I've ever seen that shot in the show.
No.
I challenge someone to prove me wrong because I'd love to see that shot again.
You know what, Courtney? I do this a lot on my other after show, and I'm always proven wrong on many occasions.
I take it back. I don't want to be challenged. No, but I would be curious to see the shot if there's another shot like that.
No, but this, I mean, the opening. To preface, if the fans of The Good Wife, if you don't know, I have been with the show since the beginning, and actually, I'm lying. A friend of mine referred me 3 seasons in, and so I binge watched seasons 1, 2, and 3, and then I was hooked.
Yes.
So, I am a huge fan of the show.
Yes. And
this has been one of the openings that it was just kind of refreshing for me to see Jason and Alicia, kind of like just kind of in the bliss of, after lovemaking, after, whatever you want to call it, sex.
Yes.
I don't know if this is an explicit AfterBuzz, but it was just nice to see them let go and just be them.
Well, especially after the awkwardness of an unsurety that we kind of were left with.
Yes.
Because I love Jason. I love Alicia with Jason. So, and they know that. I mean,
I am Team Jason all the way. I love Jason.
Like, I mean, I liked Will. Like, don't get me wrong, but I love Jason.
I think we're on the same page. I loved Will too. No, but don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Will was great.
Yeah.
And when at his demise, I cried.
Of course.
I cried.
Who didn't?
I cried.
And this is the sad thing, and I didn't think about it when this is like so not about tonight's episode.
Well, that's okay.
But it's about the end of the show, and we don't have much time.
Right.
So Will, I'm really sad that they can't bring him back now that the show's ending.
You know what was refreshing for me?
I want them to go to his grave.
What was refreshing for me was earlier, not even like 4 or 5 episodes earlier, that it was kind of revisited with Eli and Alicia. When Eli told Alicia that, hey, you know what? I got the phone call that
may have messed some things up.
Yes, and it could have changed a lot, and she was upset with him for a while. So
as she should have been. I was glad to see that.
It was like, oh, ooh, that like opened up a door for me. It was like, I like that relationship. I love that relationship.
Yeah.
But Jason's relationship with Alicia is amazing. It's amazing.
And I think it's just so appropriate for who she is now.
Yes.
I mean, Jason couldn't have been in her life like this at any other point of her life, which is kind of the best thing. And and I love that she's not well, okay. So if you haven't seen this episode, you should turn this off right now because spoilers. Alicia asks for a divorce. Yes! Like, are you serious? And
No,
it's one of those
big.
It's one of those things where for me I'm like, Jason, like, I'm glad that Jason is the catalyst for that. Like, even though it's not like I want to divorce you because I want to be with him.
Right.
It's just like I realize there's a freedom in letting go of this weight and moving forward without it, whatever that looks like.
No, I totally agree, and I think I feel like it was in the making. It has been a long time coming, and we're kind of jumping around the episode, but I feel as though now, especially like the kids are all grown. Like her biggest her line when she said that you're gonna call me an unfit mother and Grace is gonna be
3 weeks.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It's like you have nothing to hold over me.
Right.
After all the stuff that you've done over the past 7 seasons, but in their time 7 years, I don't care. She even said it, I don't care anymore.
Right.
And I'm glad. It's so refreshing to see her just let go.
See, and it's funny.
Let go.
Not funny. It's interesting that you said it because I hadn't thought of this before, but I almost feel like that's why Ruth had to come into the picture because it set Eli aside to give Alicia like a freedom from that.
Yes.
Because you know what I mean? Like I didn't think of it. The Kings, man.
Yeah.
They just know what they're doing.
Yes. Which again, I'm sorry, viewers. I because I didn't know the show was ending until like 5 episodes ago. It's very sad to see it. Like and knowing that there are only 5 or 4 episodes left.
I think 4.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know
how are they gonna wrap this all up?
Yeah. I don't know. Should we jump into the episode?
Yeah.
Well,
we kind of did we started with the opening scene. Yeah, that's as far as we got.
Well, the opening scene, which stands out for me because it ties in the whole religion thing, and Alicia's kind of with her daughter, with Grace, and her wanting to explore Christianity and wanting to set that aside, and then now Jason is like, I'm Greek Orthodox, and it was like,
I love that when she's like, I just don't want you to feel bad about what you're doing when you're with me. And he's like, yes, you do.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I do.
I love it.
Like, thank you for the honesty.
But then it also ties in like a couple of later in the episode when she's like, when he's pulling back. And she's wondering if that's the reason why, and we all know that it wasn't the reason why. It was
there was someone else. And wasn't that? I mean, I knew we were gonna get that. I didn't know when. I didn't think it was gonna be tonight.
I love it.
But it's just what did you think about that?
I love it. That was by far the best part of the episode for me.
Well, yes,
because it was a confrontation, but it wasn't a drag out, slugfest,
right?
And it was very controlled.
And, I missed in the beginning in the confrontation. I missed that Jason was in boxers. Like, did they not show us?
Oh no, I didn't miss that at all.
Oh, okay.
I saw it.
I missed that. Somehow I must have been like taking a note or something, but I missed that until they reference it later. Like I came to your house and he's walking around in his boxers. Like I was like, wait, what?
Well,
I missed that.
The good thing is, and I gotta preface for the viewers, I'm a little bit of a snob when it comes to TV and movies, and
everybody that watches The Good Wife has to be.
The thing is I've always major network TV shows I tend to stay away from. The Good Wife is amazing because they have these subtle things like him in her apartment with no boxers, but there's also little things like him trying to leave and Peter is in his way from leaving after Peter had already said, I need you to leave.
Yeah, it's like, wait.
So
what?
The show, it's well written, it's well directed, and by far the best line for me in this episode, probably in the course of this series, is Peter saying, I should kick your ass right now, and his response, you can try. I literally I gasp. I was like, oh my god, it was one of the best, most subtle scenes in the show's history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really good.
Chris, who plays Peter, watching him in this episode, He really brought it. I mean, he's always an incredible actor. I mean, the whole cast and all of the guests that they bring on. I mean, these are New York actors, and as an LA actor, it's one of those things where I watch this and I'm like, oh, am I in the wrong city? Because they really know what they're doing. I mean, not that there's not talented people,
it's also a lot of the actors they bring on the show are Broadway actors as well.
Right. So we've talked about it on here before, I think. Yeah. The casting director did an interview, and it was only during the season about that. He's like, this is not an action-packed show. This is a sitting, talking behind closed doors kind of a show. So I need people that know how to do that and make it interesting. Yes. And they're all on Broadway.
Yes. And they're all excellent. And it's
all of them.
Great cast.
And they just, and I don't remember her name, in her character's name, but they brought back our Glee girl.
I wrote it down. She played. Give me a second. I wrote it down. Ooh.
So they brought her back.
Caitlin Darcy.
Thank you, Darcy.
Yes, Caitlin. Yes. Yes.
I mean, there's that whole case, but I thought it was so interesting. Yes. And again, just another one of those.
Yes.
Of all the people that they could bring back, of all the guests, of all the characters, like they brought her back, and for me. I saw that and it was instantly like, oh, is she going to be part of the all-female firm if they go that route?
Well, you know what? I even wrote that down. I was like, this could be... Because at the end of the episode, you see Alicia approach her.
Right.
And she's and it hints to that she's good. I mean, she beat them. She beat...
Right. And she says, I learned from the best. Like, as a compliment to Alicia and Diane.
That would be great.
So
I want the show to go on another season.
I know. I'm like, okay, it's like, can't you just surprise us? Like, can't that be? Can the series finale be like a to be continued so we get more?
As long as like it's another series. No. As long as it's the series, I can't do another mini series.
All right, fair enough. That's another thing I've loved about this show. They have kept the integrity of, like, for me, a true season. Like, I'm a traditionalist. Like, 24 episodes. Well, and we've always had to deal with this time of year. There wasn't a new episode tonight because I think it was like the country awards,
CMA or something.
Another awards that we always face at this time of year. For the show, and they still fit all 24 or 22 episodes in, and all of that. But okay, so that case, so I thought it was interesting because I've never seen drones outside of photography or like hearing about it when it comes to the government. So I didn't really know or realize that it was maybe a thing, but The Good Wife is so good about staying relevant. So I'm like, okay, so I missed something in real life because this is in the episode, so this happened somewhere.
It's very the show is really good about keeping things current. And what I took from the case itself is that I'm like you, I wasn't aware that drones can do so much, and that that citizens, I guess, have so much access to so much via the drones, and their modifications. And what makes this show really good, and I will mention this, I'm going to reference, you're going to get tired of it, that the show, being a network show, does not rely on their cases or their... Right. They're kind of an afterthought. Exactly. It's like The Walking Dead is like, the zombies aren't the show. It's about the human condition. And this show is really good about setting up the characters and having the stories and having the cases be the backdrop. But it makes it interesting. Right. It makes it really interesting. But then in addition to that, like, they don't just give them these like namby-pamby cases either. No. That, like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's one of those, it's like, oh, the case is the afterthought. Like, we can just throw in another copyright case or a plagiarism case, or, you know what I mean? And have it not be relevant at all. Right. No, they had the plagiarism case with Grace. Yes. And there's like 4 different references to other twists and things about the series that filter in, just like with the drones. They bring back this other character. Right. Now, she's saying you were right to Alicia. Alicia's like, no, I wasn't right. When it comes to the kids and the family and the leaving, being a lawyer, and coming back. Like, there's so many things that kind of come back into play. One of the best parts of this episode that had to do with the case is when I think it was the third act, meaning like the third commercial break, was when Alicia was kind of upset about finding out that Peter visited the house. So she's walking back into the courtroom Diane is arguing something, and you can see her looking, and her mind is dealing with her personal life, and then Caitlin says something, and she just clicks. And
she's a lawyer.
Yes, and I love how it just, the way they can play, and Julianna Margulies is great. The way that she can play, both sides of coming into the courtroom with her personal baggage, and then hearing something and it snaps, and she's a lawyer again, and it's just, she's always on her game. And
having that be an actress who's never been a lawyer that I know of, and and it's just, that's the thing, like the acting. These people, and we actually haven't talked enough, or I guess like a lot about that, I don't think, on this after show, as far as, I mean, what that takes. Like, how as an actress do you take into a room the baggage of your fictional character,
right,
and then with that snap into this whole career that's really not your career because you're an actor, know,
right.
and have it all be believable and grounded and real, and I guess part of that goes to, I always credit, when with good acting, a lot of times is good writing. The Kings, because like you said, with network TV, that sometimes actors don't really have a lot to work with, and I have friends who have been on series shows, and they've said, like, my job is to make it work.
Yes.
And so, like, they might think it's bad acting, but it's like, I'm doing the best I can with what I have.
Right.
And with the Kings, like, they're so good at giving in that way. So she hasn't had to. Not to say that makes her job easier, but in a way it does. It gives her the flexibility to have more freedom to choose things. And in television, it's so formulaic. This show does, and maybe that's part of why they like using the Broadway actors gives it this like rich life that other shows don't always have, because it's not just like the like, I don't know, like stilted or like just so formulaic and just predictable,
right?
I guess is for lack of a better word.
This show is far from predictable,
right?
I mean, it just watching Eli and any scene that he's in, it's just like, I don't know what's I can't predict if he's gonna implode on himself or he's gonna surrender, or it's just and I agree. I think the Kings open up and it's all about television is a writer's like medium, and I wish that a lot of other major networks would follow The Good Wife as like an example, because I've tried watching other shows that are like, and when I say major network, I mean NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox. It just doesn't compare.
Right.
And and to sustain 24 episodes a season, it's remarkable what they can do and keep you guessing, or keep you like, not even guessing. For me, is I feel like I'm a little one step behind
always
everybody. It's just like,
case in point, 2 instances in just tonight's episode. Eli talks to his daughter, and she's like, what's the deal? And he goes with Diane and confesses, to like give his confession. I really never saw that coming, but it makes sense. And the way that, and Cary at the end,
right? Oh yeah.
Like, what?
Let me just point out, like, I love the cast is amazing. Sarah Steele plays Marissa, his daughter. She is phenomenal.
With her. I cannot wait to see what she does next. All of them, but
I love seeing her, and it's just one of those things. Again, it's just the casting is just. They are just amazing, and they all it all works well.
Yeah.
And her, being Eli's daughter and working at a coffee shop, and she's basically, let's be honest, she has everything at her fingertips, but she chooses to be not with that. I mean, he works for the governor of like Illinois. Come on.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it's set up, and again, this goes back to the whole will thing we talked about earlier. Is like, I don't know if it was planned that by season 7 that they would address Eli having had that conversation, or the getting that phone call, but it just works out that this conversation that they had last season with Marissa and the judge, now it's coming to fruition.
Right.
So it's just, it's the Kings, the writing. Amazing.
I know.
Amazing.
I want to see what they're doing next. I need to look into that.
Yeah.
And I'll follow up with you guys next week.
Hopefully, because what I read is that the show, I think they started shooting season 7, and then they decided, okay, well, we're just going to end it here.
Well, the Kings were leaving after 7 seasons, which from the beginning, and so my understanding or the rumors I've heard is that they always intended it to be 7 seasons. Okay. And it was one of those where it's like, I pray to God we get to 7, because that's what we have in mind. Well, yeah. Why, as a writer, I mean, I am not a writer, so like, why as a writer, like 7? You know, like what is it with 7?
Right.
I mean, I guess that's really like 14, the way that they're doing some shows now, episode-wise, you know, like they're getting 10 to 12 episodes in a season. So they got 14 seasons if you look at it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Which still isn't enough.
Right.
But
because I wonder, like, okay, going back to season 5 when Will got shot, and oh, sorry if you haven't seen it, sorry.
Then you shouldn't be watching. We already warned you.
So when he died, I was like, oh, how are they going to keep the show going?
See,
and it got better. Okay, now at the end of season 6, when Kalinda left, I was like,
what are they going to do?
I love Kalinda.
Yeah.
And I'm actually okay that she's. I mean, I would love to see her more
naturally,
but the show keeps going.
What about Robin? Because one of my other co-hosts was like, because I was like Kalinda, and she was like Robin. I was like,
I love Jason better.
Robin.
I Jason.
Well, hello.
Well, Jason's.
He's. You guys.
Sidebar. Jason, the actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yes.
He's the bad guy on The Walking Dead, which would be. I don't know if you watch The Walking Dead.
I don't. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Here's the thing. Here's a interesting fact. He plays a really good guy on The Good Wife. He plays a nasty badass on The Walking Dead. It hasn't aired. It's going to air tonight. So if you're watching, check it out. I can't wait. It's going to be because I'm kind of geeking out on it.
Oh,
I love him as an actor.
Like now. I will watch that show sooner knowing he's on it. I'm not kidding. Yes. Like that's how much I like him.
The thing is that he's so charismatic and such. He comes off as a badass on The Good Wife, but he's very like lovable.
So lovable. Like very lovable. Like when the apartment's all dark, and I actually like wrote the note. I was like, Alicia came home to empty apartment, and she opens the bedroom door, and he's just like laying there, and not even in like a weird way, like just like so cute. I'm like, can I just like open my bedroom door and have you be there?
Even backing up when he was at the end of the first act before the credits, when he drove off, I literally thought he was leaving, like we would never see him again.
Oh, that would have been so
seeing
sad.
him later in the episode in the bedroom.
What? Yeah.
I love that. That was great.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what do you think of this whole? I call it home base. The law firm, Lockhart,
and all the politics going on within it.
What do you think of like? It's very backseat, but I think it's.
But. It's not like it's
believable.
It's not
totally
irrelevant.
Yes,
that's the thing. Like everything that they do, I say afterthought. It's not an afterthought. It's intentionally put in the background.
Yes,
and so it's just as relevant, but it just doesn't have the significance on purpose.
Right.
And so I was thinking about that time because of the Cary thing, and I thought it was really interesting. The whole like, I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to look over my shoulder. Like, I don't want to always be wondering. Like, I'm a name partner, and I still have to watch my back. Like, what am I doing? Like, I want to be a lawyer.
Cary.
And so I love him for that. I mean, and I love Matt as an actor.
Yes.
And all of these people, this entire cast, like, I cannot wait to see what they do next. And I selfishly, because they don't live in New York, hope that it's not something on Broadway.
Right.
To where we, I have to. I mean,
literally
I love New York,
get on a plane and go to New York and see them. Yes.
And then it's like one time, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
But I really liked in tonight's episode how the focus of any changes kind of got brought up to be like, we need to do what's best for the firm. Like, we all have the same long-term goal. It's to make this law firm the best in Chicago.
Yeah.
And, and I was like, okay, so in that sense, I really hope that it doesn't become an all-female firm, because as a woman, as a independent, working, driven woman, I like working alongside men because I feel like they have a different perspective that they can bring. They have a different skill set. There are things that men are inherently better at than women, and vice versa. And that's when feminism comes into play for things, or, you know, like the all-female firm and stuff. It's like, yeah, there's something to be said about what women can do that men can't. But there's still a potential void then, and you leave yourself vulnerable to what a man can do that a woman can't, or that a woman has to work harder to develop the skill that a man kind of more naturally just has. So I really do hope, I really hope that we see Lyman go. Like, I want them to just boot him. Like, they like got him off the floor, and maybe that'll be it. But it's like, just buy him out. You know, like, I don't know if I feel like Luca should become a partner. I like her.
I love her, but no.
You know what I mean? Like, she's still too new. Like, she's still too not, you know. Like,
I love her, though.
No, agreed. So...
Well... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, so, it's kind of off topic if you had something else to say about the Lyman thing.
Well, it is...
Okay.
The Lyman thing. He was
bring that up then.
Well, he was only brought in as a pawn.
Right.
Initially, like before, like long time ago.
Yes.
So, and the reason why he's still there is like beyond me. He's still literally a pawn.
Right.
But Diane, Alicia, and Luca getting their own law firm would be kind of cool.
What about with Caitlin, though?
I thought about that too, because she's amazing. She's amazing.
When Alicia asked, when she said, isn't your husband a lawyer also? Like, I thought it was going to be like, this is not going to be an all-female firm. This is going to be like a powerhouse. And they were both going to come. And then, of course, he's in Vegas. Like, and why Vegas? Like, come on. I don't know. Maybe there's more to it.
Well, I mean, but if you are separated from your wife or your significant other when you go to Vegas, I would.
I mean, I'm from Vegas. So.
Oh. My best friends are... all my good friends live in Vegas, so... But no,
I mean, there's a lot of great things about Vegas, but from Chicago, like, Vegas. Where would, like, that's where you go? Yeah. It just seemed a little, I don't know, whatever.
Like,
but
Abercrombie, I don't know.
But
my thing,
I lost my thought. Oh well.
With Cary, Cary's been through the ringer. I mean,
I know
he was in the DA's office, and then he's been in jail, and now it's just, and I have to, I agree with Cary. I like after watching, being a part of like Alicia or Florrick August, and now back to it's so much. I kind of get tired of it. Like, I get, you
Agreed.
know, at what point do you like, okay, this is no longer about being a lawyer.
Did you by chance watch How I Met Your Mother?
I didn't.
Okay, well, so it's the same kind of a thing, though. They spent a whole season planning these two characters' wedding, and then in the first or second episode of the next season, they get divorced.
Oh, really?
And it's like, wait, what? Like, you know, like, and I say that in regards to, they spent all this time getting Cary and Alicia out and established.
Right.
Only to bring them back, and it's like, wait a second, you know. Now things have evolved and moved, and Alicia was on her own, and you know, and and a lot has happened because of that. You know, it wasn't quite the same, but it's just like that. I don't want to keep seeing this fight, and so in that sense, I was like glad for Cary.
Yeah,
I would love to know what happens next. Like, I would love to see maybe like a judgeship, or I mean, I don't know where you go from here. Like, is he just gonna go like work for someone else, like under the radar? Because he said, I like being a lawyer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I feel like he's not leaving law.
I see him going to California and just being a surf boy. And like with his shirt
in
off.
your dreams,
in
baby.
My dreams. But what
my dreams.
Maybe
Call us.
I want to know what David Lee got out of the deal in this episode.
I think he got more shares.
But it seems as though, I feel like there was something else. I mean, the way it was presented, there's always an underlying... Maybe
he's getting Lyman out of there. I don't
know. Oh, well, David Lee, by the way, is one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites.
I really don't like him, which is the point.
I hate him so much.
So he's doing such a good job. It's like...
He's so annoying. But it's so good to see him.
The show needs him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good to see him. Yeah. And his constant, like, his paranoia. It's so good to see him.
He is like, what, yin and yang. Like, he is like the, I don't know who would be who, but Eli versus like David. Like Eli, you never know what's gonna happen. David, you always know what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Yes.
It's like a nice balance. You see, you're like, somebody's about to get pissed. He's gonna just be like the biggest jerk on the face of the earth, screwing somebody out of something.
But I never turn away. I always like seeing David Lee on screen. Because he's such a train wreck. It's just like I hate this character, but I love him as a person.
Yeah.
It's just really, I'm very conflicted right now. And anybody who knows me, I'm a flip flopper, so whatever. What do we think about the scene where Alicia goes into Peter's office at the governor?
Right, and it's like not even in his office, like in his actual office, like just in the governor's mansion or wherever they. I thought, and he like pulls her in the office. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're just like staying in the hallway. Like she told him she wants a divorce, like in front of, not like to announcing it to people, but like in front of people.
It's one of those things where it's that conversation where I don't care who's sitting around and listening.
Right, like I almost want somebody else to hear, so that this is there's no turning back on this.
And fans, forgive me, I don't remember the actress's character or her name. The Eli's assistant, the beautiful black girl with the hair.
Oh,
because they did cut. They cut to her.
Can we call ourselves fans?
I know, right? They did cut to her because when Peter was running for president, which by the way, that was an amazing storyline. She was she was a driving force in that episode, in those episodes, and they literally cut to her overhearing Alicia saying, hey, it's whatever. So I tweet us. Make a comment down below. What's her name? I don't know her name.
I'm trying to look it up. I was trying to look it up quickly, but there's so many people in the show.
I know.
It's going to take a minute. I probably should have just Googled it, actually.
But we all if you're watching Nora. Yes.
Nora, yeah.
Yes.
And her name is Nicole Roderick.
She's a great actress. Love her. I'm a fan. I'm sorry I didn't know your name or your character's name. Yeah. I even had to look up Matthew Morrison's character's name because I didn't know it. They rarely say it on the show.
Yes.
He's AUSA Fox.
I actually made a point to write that down tonight too.
Yeah.
I was like, pause.
Yeah. And it's weird because anytime someone says it, we all know in the real world we wouldn't say, oh, by the way, have you spoken to AUSA Fox?
Yeah.
So...
But would you? I'm not in the legal world.
No, I would just say...
I mean, you don't say, like, did you talk to your... Well, I guess I kind of am this way in my real life. This isn't my real life. I don't know, like, what? Mm-hmm. But, like, I would be like, my neighbor, Michelle, or, like, my boss, Jeanette. Like, you know what I mean? Versus, like, some people are just like, oh, like, Michelle.
Right.
And they're like, wait, who's Michelle? Like, oh, my neighbor.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I'm always the one that's like my so-and-so Sam, my so-and-so, like, so I would be the one that'd be like AUSA Fox, or like my lawyer Alicia, or my governor Peter. I don't know.
Well, only if I had to identify with somebody in that way. If I'm speaking to, like, I think Eli and Diane were having a conversation amongst themselves. I think they know who AUSA Fox is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so we were talking about Peter and then that scene, and then what about when he comes back to Alicia and's like, I need one last favor.
Okay, so this is a recurring thing because
he always needs one more favor.
And it's always that thing of him coming back and saying, I need you to do this. Mm-hmm. I need you to be by my side for this. I'm running for president. I need you to be by my side. I'm getting out of jail. I need you to be by my side. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell the world that I had an affair. I need you to be by my side. It's a recurring thing.
Right.
And I hope
say it. We all are thinking it.
This is hard for me because I don't think, okay, Peter is he's not a bad guy.
Kind of a bad guy, but Chris makes you love him. There
is a likable quality, especially when you see scenes when they put their differences aside to like have sex in the middle of the day. You know what I mean?
Right. So there's like that little ounce of hope that maybe they're gonna find their way back to each other.
I hope never they get back to it.
No, but I mean, like, there were like moments of that. Then Jason came.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say I want her to say no.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's thinking that. If you are not thinking that, seriously, explain yourself. Because I really want to understand. Because I don't understand why somebody would say, "Yeah, do this." Because what is she getting out of this anymore? It's one of those. I really never understood that. I mean, they're like, "Oh, we're just doing it for like the power," you know. Because it's like you already have the name. Like everybody already knows you as Alicia Florrick and what the Florrick name is, and I don't know how great can that name be when he's going through the grand jury and then what Marissa talks to Fox and you know says, well, did he say grand jury or did he say trial? You know, and he definitely said trial. You know, and all those little details. It's like, and what can she do? I mean, I did get what he's saying where it's like, make it known. Like, I don't want people to think you're leaving me because I'm guilty.
Right.
But would the public thinking he's guilty or not really change the verdict?
I think so. I think if I'm being indicted for a crime and my significant other, wife, husband, whatever, leaves me, I think in the public's opinion or whoever's opinion, it looks like I'm guilty. So in that respect, I think, I see where he's coming from. Where I'm coming from, I think she should just run for the hills. It's just been, you know, even when she found out that Kalinda was one of the women that he said, it was just like, how much does she have to? And I'm only saying this because this episode specifically, there's a thing when I feel when a woman is very open and her relationship with Jason, it's physical. It is known to be, even when she saw him kissing another woman and she got past it, and when they were in the boardroom or the conference room and she's telling him, you know, I don't care if it's my place, hotel room, my car. Right. I want to see you. Yeah. And it was like you will be at my apartment tonight, or however she ended up wording it. It felt as though that and it's really refreshing to see from a woman's perspective that, you know, sexual encounters can be just that and not anything else, which I hope it goes somewhere else, because I really like Jason.
I think it already is. I mean, I think it's one of those situations where, and I've always wondered this, and the show has never really addressed it. I don't think, like, since Will, the whole, like, they don't live together, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, Alicia and Peter, they don't live together anymore. Like, and yeah, they have he has to be, you know, at the mansion, you know, work in Springfield, and, you know, I have to be in Chicago, and so we can't, you know, but it's like, it's never acknowledged that a man is always at Alicia's house. It's never like, and I get like they're not going in public and stuff, but I think that's part of it is there really is more to it, because that's why he comes and he's like laying on the bed, you know, and those little things, and you know, the explanation and the conversation, as weird as it is to have about the kiss and the friend and everything, and sticking it out, and the religion, you know, like they're not just having sex, but at the same time, like, they're both free and okay with that kind of being the only part of the relationship that they can explore right now, you know, because Jason's like, you are a married woman, you know, and like this all affects me too, you know, and now she's getting a divorce, and I love that it's not about him. Like, he may be a catalyst, but like I said that before, but, you know, but I really don't think it's about him. It's not her way of saying, I hope this gets more serious because I'm getting a divorce. I'm getting a divorce because I want something to go somewhere with him. That's not why she's doing it. You know, and I love that there's that separation, and I think that it will give them that freedom. We just aren't going to get to see it because there's not enough time.
That's not enough time. But do you want her? What do you want her to say to Peter at?
No.
Now why?
Infinity.
Why?
Because. Oh, but Chris, like, I was like, in that moment, I was watching him say, and I'm like,
there's a moment of desperation.
He's also my Mr. Big.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
I wasn't a Sex and the City fan, so I didn't know it.
But no, I mean, but like, so he's just kind of that jerky but likable guy.
Yes.
Like he's so good at
I
that
totally agree.
face when he was asking, like, I just need you to do this one last thing.
I do agree.
Oh, but it's never just one.
I was just about to say that. I feel like I've heard this speech before.
Yeah.
Like, we've heard it before, and it's never just this one time. It's for the moment now. And then when something else comes, because she even mentioned, she's like, you're
during
always...
the retrial, or during the...
She said, you're always going to be indicted. If you're not indicted now, you're going to be indicted whenever. So it's always a recurring... And I love him, but I don't.
Right. Not enough.
I love to hate him to the point where it's like.
I like you like him, but like you like Alicia or love Alicia,
love Alicia more.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's what it really comes down to. And it's there's nothing in it for her, and she's given Peter enough.
Yes,
is kind of how I feel. And so I really do also hope she says no. And the reason is because of that. Like, it's time for her to see that she doesn't need his name to make a name for herself.
Yeah.
That she's doing that on her own. And maybe, I've always actually been kind of anti the female firm, but maybe that's part of it, Yeah. But I say that because I don't think it has to be only females, But for me, and maybe I'm like throwing in the towel, like, sure, do the all female firm because like Cary's quitting. Because for me, I'm like, you can't cut Cary out. Like, I love Cary, and he's been through so much, and he's like still there, and he's like,
deep down, I think she's gonna say yes. I think she's gonna.
You do?
I think she's gonna help him out. That's my prediction for the next episode.
All right.
She's gonna throw in the towel. She always does. She's a good wife.
But I
she's
feel
a good
like
wife.
I don't know. We'll see.
She may, say, hey, you know what? This is enough. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, and this is why this show is so good, is because we have this relationship where on the surface everything is perfect.
It's so true.
Everything is perfect. The house, the wife, the kids, he's the governor, but underneath you dig a little deep and there's so much underneath, all the dirt.
And it's
what we consider dirt, there's it's just,
it's like the anthill.
Nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. But I feel as though she may do this one last time.
But will she do it and like screw him over?
Oh, that's a good.
We'll see. Final?
I personally don't think she has it in her. I don't think she has.
Well, even if she doesn't mean to, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
4 episodes left. Any final thoughts tonight?
I don't know. The big thing is will she or won't she? And I think I would love her to not, but I think
you think she's gonna say yes.
I think
you say no. But she says yes.
I say no. I think the show is going to make her say yes.
I say no, and I think she will say no. Because we predict that she will say yes, and the Kings know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think.
Yes.
Where can we find you online? I
am on Twitter at Kenny C. Harrison on Twitter. And you can find me at AfterBuzz on Drag Race. So look for that too. I am Courtney. You can find me on Twitter as well at Cohen, Couhen. Awesome. I'm glad we got to do this. I just real quick. This after show was not gonna happen, and I love the Good Wife, so I had to. Here he is. I'm glad I made it. All right, that is a wrap, folks. Thank you so much. Next episode. Yes. Take care. Until next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV. Buzz you later. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.